What is good, you troglodytes? And today we're going to be going over whether or not you can kind of buff how much photon chunk 2A and 2B you're getting. So let's get into the video. So I popped both a 1 hour, I think 20% rare drop and a 10% tri booster, if I'm not mistaken. And just from multiple runs, I've not been able to boost how much photon chunk 2A and 2B you can get, nor will the concert buff give you that either. So just keep that in mind, that you cannot boost how much photon chunk A and B you're getting. Now the average amount that I'm getting is about 4 to 2, 4 2B and 2 2A. So just photon chunk 2B, I'm getting 4 of them, and photon chunk 2A, I'm only getting 2. Sometimes I get only 1 of 2A, but for sure I'm getting a healthy 4 for 2B. Now why they're making one drop more than the other, I have no clue, but that's how much I am getting, and that's how much I've gotten each run. Now you can use these photon chunks to upgrade your potential on your weapons if you had got them to the max level, which was level 5 before the seasonal event started. Now the new max is level 6. You will need 60 of them for each potential that you have max level on all your weapons. So just keep that in mind, that if you're just looking to try to do one but you didn't do the other and you use both, I would suggest that you grind 60 each for both weapons, just so you can be able to upgrade both potentials on whatever weapons that you have. Now it's going to cost about 400,000 on top of that, so make sure that you have some leftover Meseta just laying around. And I'm going to kind of show you how the Revita is working, even with it not having any augments aside from what was given to us by the vendor, the event vendor. So in this limited time quest, as you can see, I'm doing about a good healthy amount of damage. Of course, the enemy is weak to dark element, and of course the Revita has a dark element on it. So of course I am doing extra damage on top of the dark exploit 2 that it has on it prematurely. Not me upgrading it to anything else, not me putting any other augments on it, and it's doing a healthy amount of damage. As far as with my katana art, I'm doing about 13 to 14k with my katana art, and depending on how good I do it with my photon blast, I'm usually doing about 30 to 35k. So it's a relatively pretty decent weapon already, with just the average augments that it has on it. And of course, whatever you decide to put on it afterwards, it's just going to get better from that. And this kind of backs up why I said that this weapon is kind of good, because even with me doing my photon arts, with certain ones, especially when I do my counter, I could do about 2,000 to almost 3,000 with my counter, and with the photon arts I'm averaging about 1,000 to 1,100, maybe 1,200 per hit. So just keep that in mind, that it does chunky damage, especially with the enemies currently weak to dark element. This weapon it's fairly good, and I would imagine that even without the dark elemental weakness that the enemies are going to have, just going up against dark elemental weak enemies is going to be very this weapon is going to do very well against them. So just keep that in mind. Do not set of these or trade it in or sell it. whatever the case is. Even if you do put the best augments on there, I would suggest that you keep this weapon to the very end, or at least until there are better dark elemental weapons out there. I would suggest that you use this weapon until you can't use it at all. As far as just with what augments I would put on it, I'd probably put maybe a Dread Keeper 4 on it, which I'll probably do later on, as well as a melee 4 on it, so just so you can get that nice little buff. If you want to put one of the health nuts on it, you could put a health nut on it, or if you have an augment S, you can also put an augment S on one of the weapons, and I'm only speaking for katanas just because that's what I'm rocking and that's usually what I main, so just keep that in mind when I'm telling you these things. Of course, you probably want to put a technique on it, or belt range, whatever you're using. Just keep that in mind that what I'm telling you to put on it is for a melee weapon and katana specifically, so just keep that in mind. But other than that, it's a fairly decent weapon. The 10-second 4% HP recovery is actually pretty nice. I don't realize that it procs until I look down and my health is usually full again. Now, of course, you have people that's doing a group heal, and by group heal, not meaning that you're in the same group with them, but that you're in the vicinity of their healing area, and you get some of that, so that definitely helps a lot. But of course, if nobody is hitting those at that time, and you're just fighting, that gradual health recovery is actually nice, and it actually brings you back up. I'd say probably after about 20 to 30 seconds, you're almost damn near full, if not already full. So it's definitely a great passive buff to have as a potential 20%, if I'm not mistaken, the 15 to 20% potential buff that you have on it is actually pretty good on it as well. And just once you upgrade it to level 6 and you get up there, it's actually going to be pretty nice, so just keep that in mind as you upgrade this weapon, or if you decide to upgrade this weapon. Now, if you're choosing not to use this weapon, that's totally on you. But let me know down in the comment section below if you think this is a good weapon, have you been using it, and if you think that it could possibly be better, or would you make it better. But like the video if you haven't already, subscribe for more. If we have more limited time quests like these, I'll try to do more breakdowns and see if, and do more tests as far as what can give us the most resources. But in my honest opinion, there's probably nothing you just have to grind out limited time quests just to get it. So that's fantastic. And if you're rocking a subclass, this is a great time to upgrade your subclass. To level it up. It's a great time to update that. Not update it, but this is a good time to level it up and get it to where you want it to get to. So just keep that in mind as well. But that'll be all. Peace out.